Listen, love, if you want people to love you, to be obsessed with you, to care and love you unconditionally, you need to do it first. And you start loving yourself unconditionally and valuing yourself unconditionally only if you build independent confidence. Why does your confidence depend on how much Tom, Dick, and Harry like you, whether this or that guy responded to you, whether people are obsessed with you or not obsessed with you? How do you expect people to love you unconditionally for who you are if you don't love yourself unconditionally? And by gaining confidence, you'll make people obsessed with you, you'll be obsessed with yourself, and even more than that, you will feel like your true self. You'll be connected to yourself, you'll have this foundation within yourself that you can always rely on, that you can always come back to. There will be less anxiety in your life, less stress, less worry about what other people think about you, less self-esteem roller coasters when your self-worth and self-esteem goes up when somebody likes you and goes down when somebody breaks up with you. Your confidence should be independent. It should not depend on any external factors. So how do you get there? Hello dears, my name is Valeria, and in this channel I talk about everything related to self-development, self-improvement, psychology. I share my personal stories, my personal journey, and ultimately I'm here to help you become your best self. So welcome, I'm very happy to have you here, and without any further ado, let's get into it. So let's talk about the first step that you need to take in order to have independent confidence, in order for your brain to understand that you're confident. Because whatever your brain believes, whatever you have subconsciously, is what will project into their world. The things that we have on the subconscious level, our problems, our beliefs, our traumas, is what our energy is. That is what we produce into the world. Our energy is only 10%, about 10% of the things that we think, of our conscious beliefs, conscious thoughts, and all other 90% are subconscious stuff. Your mind, your ego, the things that you learned that you were a child are all parts of your energy. Self-worth starts in your mind because all the problems also come from your mind. All your insecurities come from your mind. You become valuable to yourself and in your own life when your brain realizes that you're the leader in your life, that you are in charge of your life, that you are the owner of your life. So what does it mean to be the owner of your life? What does it mean to be in charge of your life? Being in charge of your life means that you put your well-being, you put yourself above everything else that you do. If your mind cannot rely on you, if you don't have a foundation within yourself, it will have to seek this validation, this foundation somewhere else. And that means outside world. So if you don't have this confidence that you got your own back, that you can rely on yourself for your mind to rely on, so it will have to rely on others' opinion. What makes you rely on other people? Once they prove with actions that they are trustworthy. For example, you have a friend that you rely on. How do you feel that you can actually rely on that person? Because that person times and times over proven that he or she is worth your trust through actions, through keeping promises, through being there for you, through prioritizing you. That person is valuable to you because he or she did certain actions. Well, to make yourself valuable to you, you need to do same thing. You need to prove through keeping promises to yourself, through prioritizing yourself action-wise, not just in your head, and showing your brain that you got yourself, you got your back. Being the main person in your life means that every action that you take, every step that you take is for your own good. Next step is you need to stop being a good girl and try to fit in. You need to stop trying to prove yourself or to be right or to please other people. I have another video that explains why being a good girl doesn't get you anywhere. You need to stop looking for approval or rightness from other people for them to show you that, oh, you're a good girl, you're a good person. You need to get comfortable with feeling and saying whatever that you feel, whenever you feel it, however you feel it. You cannot be good good for everyone. If you take 100 people and you decide which bread to eat, whole wheat or toast bread, there will always be people who think otherwise, and there always will be people who agree with you. So if you try to put yourself in the mindset where you have to please some people, there will always be people who are not pleased. And let me tell you, the more you try to please people, the less they will like you, because they see that there is no foundation within you, and that makes you a weak person. If you've been acting from the goal of being liked by other people, of pleasing the other people, or looking for their approval, you're acting from the place of fear, from the place of weakness. Why? Because that way you're avoiding discomfort of people not liking you and uncertainty of how people will actually act. For example, you are very uncomfortable with eating toast bread. Everybody in the group, you think, or maybe it is proven, likes toast bread. Instead of saying that you don't like toast bread, that you want a whole wheat bread, you decide that if you do that, they won't like you. And if they won't like you, you'll feel like shit yourself, because that will prove to yourself that you're not a good person. And you decide to stay in your comfort zone and say that you like toast bread. What happens in that moment? You're betraying yourself. You're betraying your true feelings. You're betraying your true needs and desires, and there is no greater sin in this universe than betraying yourself. In order to be confident, you need to understand that a true feminine woman, she understands that she cannot please others. The only person she wants to please is herself, and she does so by choosing herself and by doing whatever feels right to her. And yes, once again, it can be scary, because if you do not do what people want, if you do not people please, it might lead to a conflict that you are not ready to face. But what you need to understand is that when you defend yourself, first, you gain confidence because you show yourself that you got your own back. And secondly, you show people who you are. And people do like people who can defend themselves. People respect those people. You need to act not from your head, but from your heart. And when you don't, this energy, this anger towards yourself just becomes a snowball of that resentment that you have deep inside towards yourself, because you're constantly, by choosing other people, betraying yourself over and over again. Imagine you have a partner, and instead of choosing you, instead of choosing to spend time with you, instead of validating your opinion, he chooses to validate a stranger's opinion and always takes a stranger's side. How long would you be able to stay in this relationship? Well, guess what? You're in this relationship with yourself your whole life, until you finally choose to listen to your heart, to listen to yourself, and choose your own needs and desires. If you do not allow yourself to feel anger, discomfort, or any emotion that will lead to a conflict with other people and doesn't make you a good girl, you also not allowing yourself to feel the love, the happiness fully, because you cannot choose what emotion to put down and which emotion to put up. It's not a chart. You're either allowing yourself to feel all the emotions and being true to yourself, or you're limiting your whole emotional potential. Here's the magic. When you stop suppressing the negative, you also stop suppressing the positive. You'll find yourself with more love and energy to share. Trust your deep desires and the desires that come from your soul. You need to understand that those impulsive desires, those things that you don't understand where are they coming from, for example, you want to become a movie star, those desires, those impulses are coming from your subconsciousness. Those impulses are coming from your soul, and those impulses are a way for your soul, for your higher self, to communicate something to you. And by understanding those impulses, understanding where they're coming from, and sometimes following them or not, you will actually move through this life much easier. When you follow them, once again, you prove to yourself that you are the priority in your life. The problem is external voices like society, parents' opinion, fears, doubts usually dominate our mind. All the fears are in your head, but your soul is free of fears. There is no right or wrong for your soul, just something that you need to do for your journey, for your true path. It's connected to your purpose, to the reason why you're here, and to the experiences that you need to have. And the more you listen to that voice, to those needs and wants, the louder they become. And the power of that voice is that it can guide you not only in the supermarket understanding which fruit to get, but also in choosing partners, in understanding which person to build a relationship with, which person to build a business with. This way, you'll no longer need to rely on others' validation, because the level of others' validation will be somewhere here. You won't even need to think about it, because the voice that you listen to is your own voice, and the importance of that voice will be up here. The society changes, the opinions change, people come and go, and if you cannot rely on your own voice, if you cannot rely on yourself, you'll be constantly lost, constant anxiety, roller coasters of emotions, just the low vibrational states you don't want to be in. And you have high vibrational states if you're in alignment with your soul. And you're in alignment with your soul if you're simply, and that's the first step, start listening to it. And if you don't listen to that voice, if you choose others' validation, societal opinions over this inner voice, it stops working. The things that we don't use in our everyday life, they get ruined and they stop working. The more you polish the car that you have, the more you clean your computer from all the stuff that you don't need, the longer it will work for you. Next thing is adding pleasure to your life, cultivating happiness in your life. And your happiness is your own responsibility. It's the main responsibility that you have as a person on this planet, to make yourself happy, to find a way how you can make yourself happy. And I'm not saying that you need to choose to eat chocolates the whole day because that's what makes you happy. The truth is, if you do that, if you know that chocolate is not good for you and it makes you feel sick, and all you do is eat the chocolate whole day, what you truly are doing is giving yourself a short-term pleasure, and long-term you'll probably feel shit about yourself and you'll respect yourself even less. But discipline, but showing up for yourself is actually what makes you more happy, what gives you a long-term result, and makes you more confident about your actions, about your dedication. True joy comes from keeping promises to yourself, like showing up for a 5-minute workout that you promised yourself you would do every single day. Commit to actions and choices that bring lasting fulfillment and make you proud of who you are and what you do. Then you'll get in this game of enjoyment. It's like playing a game when you constantly improve yourself, like you're leveling up all the time. It gives you dopamine. When you tick the tasks that you do throughout the day, it releases those positive hormones. And what happens is that you'll get into this game of life so much, and you'll start focusing on your own game, on your own levels so much, that slowly others' people's opinion will matter less and less to you. Because, for example, going to the gym or going for a walk instead of thinking about other person would be a bigger priority to you. You will know that your time is valuable and that you want to spend it on yourself. And what makes us obsessed with other people and makes us rely on other people is the hormones that they are giving us. And if you give yourself those hormones, if you give yourself this joy and find the ways to make yourself happy, the other person will only be able to add up to that happiness. But you won't need another person or another people's opinions to make yourself happy. The way you treat yourself also reflects how other people treat you. So if you focus on finding pleasure, finding ways to make yourself happy every single day, guess what? People around you, whether it's men or women, will also unconsciously start acting that way as well, because that is the standard that you set for yourself. That is how you like to spend your time. That is what you focus on. That is what your values are. Yes, you like to do things that make you happy. Feminine energy thrives in joy and beauty. This energy of dopamine and oxytocin that we produce, and it's like pheromones. People can smell it and feel it unconsciously. A happy person stands out. A woman who enjoys herself, who's in comfort with herself, stands out even if she doesn't look like a supermodel, and she doesn't need other people to give her that joy. That is the key. Filling your day with joy and pleasure is not a thing that you do once a month or on the weekends. It's like drinking water or breathing. If you decide that you're gonna drink water only once a day, you'll be very thirsty throughout the day. And if you decide that you'll only drink water at the end of the week, you'll die. Same thing, you need to start focusing on and understanding how can you make yourself happy and joyful through small things every single day. Small regular doses of joy and happiness will make your energy more vibrant and irresistible because it has this built-up effect. Whether it's making yourself coffee in the morning, having a massage today, watching your favorite show alone. Next and the last thing you need to do is you need to take your trash out. And by trash, I mean people that are toxic, situations that are not serving you, circumstances that make you unhappy or rob you of this joyful and pleasurable energy. And it don't mean you need to quit your job. If there's something that you need to have, for example, like a job, you need to find why it stresses you out so much. How can you regulate yourself so that it will give you pleasure? For example, get in this learning mindset. Instead of thinking that this job robs you of your time or whatever that is, try to see what can you learn from it. How can you become better by staying in this job? Same with people. Is there something that this person gives you? If not, why is he or she still in your life? You need to understand that you can never become confident. You can never have high self-value and self-esteem if you surround yourself with toxic people. Your self-worth and self-value is defined by what you surround yourself with. By letting toxic people stay in your life, you're telling your subconsciousness, your brain, that those people are worth of your time and energy. And your brain is like, oh, this person is abusive towards us, but we are still staying with that person. That means we are okay with being abused. We are worth of being abused. And I'm not doing victim blaming here. What I mean is you need to realize that you set the standards for the people who surround you. And if you look at it, there are probably only a few people, like your parents, that stayed with you your whole life. Maybe it's one friend. Usually you evolve, you change. And some people just live your life as it is because you're changing. Your opinions change. The things that you like change. The circumstances, like for example, you leave school, you go to the university, change. You're growing, you're leveling up, and you attract the people that are on the same level or in the same circumstances, in the same mindset. So when you realize it, when you realize that people that you are attracting are on this game level that you're at, and you either need to understand something and let those people go, let those lessons go, or you need to nurture the relationships that are actually giving you something, that are teaching you something, that are giving you this resource. It is very powerful to be able to say, no, this is not serving me, I need to let that go. If the flower doesn't bloom, it doesn't mean that there is something wrong with the flower. It means that probably the soil needs to be changed. The soil, the ground, are your surroundings, are people that surround you, the circumstances that surround you. And instead of thinking that there is something wrong with yourself, try to look at your life from the ownership mindset and understand that you control every single part. You have the ability and the power to change every single part, and that you'll be okay if you remove anybody from your life. Yes, it might hurt. Yes, it might be painful for some time. You cannot heal in the place that keeps hurting you. When you choose to be around someone who disrespects you, or you ignore the disrespect and don't set your boundaries clearly, your subconscious is like, oh, okay, that is how we can be treated. And not only you stop valuing yourself that much, but you also will attract more people who treat you the same way. Because once again, your subconsciousness is your vibration. It's what you attract in this world. And another bonus thing that I want to focus on, and that is very important when we're talking about confidence, self-value, and feminine energy, is finding harmony and balance with your body, being at peace and in comfort with your body. When you're focusing on pleasures, on sensitivity, on your body, you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for relaxation and recovery. Activities like dancing, yoga, Pilates do help you reduce stress by releasing endorphins, the happiness hormones, and grounding you in the present moment. And once again, those hormones are what other people feel from you. When I'm talking about frequencies and energy levels, think about it as a radio station. When you're focused on, for example, a 100.9 radio station, the only songs you'll get is from that station. When you focus on your energy being about happiness, when you remove the things that are harming you, and thus you're leveling up your frequency level, the songs are the people around you. You'll attract and you will notice things and people, circumstances that radiate on the same frequency as you. Think of your body as a musical instrument. If you do not take care of it, if you ignore its needs, if you do not know how to clean it properly, how to work with it properly, it falls out of tune, and when you try to play it, the melody just sucks. But when you're constantly working on tuning it, on taking care of it, and once again, that is through keeping your body aesthetically pleasing to you, by doing activities, by nourishing your body with right food and vitamins, and making sure your health is in check, you're tuning your body to the right frequency, to the right music. That is all I have for you today. Hopefully the information was useful to you and you had some insights from this video. I would really appreciate your comment. I'm very happy to have you here, and